Olympic weightlifter, also known as Big Engine on TikTok, and you're watching Loudmouth presents Off the Top Rope.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and denominations, I love getting the question in my inbox, oh, I want to train to become a professional wrestler. Now, we're going to be talking about a different style of training now and not just hitting the mat. With me is Nick. Nick on TikTok goes under the handle Big Engine, and Nick does a specialized type of training. It's more Olympic weightlifting and lifting and things like that. It's a different training, but it's absolutely essential to what we're doing as well as professional wrestlers. Nick, how's it going?
Good, very well, and you, Donovan. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you very much. Nick,
Good to
please
be
give us a bit of background where you started in your fitness journey and where you are now in your journey.
All right. I walked into my first gym at 16 years old. Old Ed's gym in Houghton.
Okay.
And from there on, I was just doing sort of kind of basic bodybuilding stuff and, you know, press, arm curls, that kind of thing, all isolation movements. And it was always on and off. I was never really dedicated to the fitness thing. We were young, we were going out and, you know, jolling, you know how it goes when you're young.
Yeah.
So I never really took it seriously. I felt then as I got older into my 30s, I thought, now let me actually just try something new, something completely different. And I got into CrossFit.
All right.
And like many people that has CrossFit have transitioned into, because the Olympic lifts, the clean and jerk and the snatch are part of the CrossFit protocol, as everyone knows. And CrossFit's done a great job of introducing lifting to people that didn't even know what it was. I mean, they've watched the Olympic Games, but I think people kind of watch more kind of the track events or the swimming or the diving, that kind of stuff. So when I say Olympic lifting, just Olympic weightlifting, just so everybody knows, Olympic weightlifting is the snatch, which is the ball from the ground and it goes all the way into and overhead. And the clean and jerk is two movements, the clean up to the shoulders and then the jerk overhead. Okay, we don't pull cars or tractors. We don't pull airplanes. We don't do things like that. So that is the strong men.
Yeah.
You have area, and then you have power lifters, where you have the bench press, the squat, and the deadlift, which are your three main lifts of the power lifters.
Right.
Olympic weightlifting is two lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk, just so that everyone knows. I then I was taught for a while. And you know, working in CrossFit gyms, I did get my CrossFit level 1 coaching certificate as well. Then I decided to find a coach, and at the same time did my certification for Olympic weightlifting. So I am a certified Catalyst Athletics certified weightlifting coach. So Catalyst Athletics is a big weightlifting hub. They have tutorials, videos, emails. They have their own club, their team that goes and competes in the US and in the nationals. Few Olympians as well. So they're quite well known in the Olympic lifting arena.
Right.
That's really my story. I'm 48 years old now, still kind of trying, getting there. And that's
Well, you mentioned your age there. I assume that, you know, being 48, I mean, you still your technique is still good enough to keep up with guys half your age and more. How important is it, technique versus how much you're lifting? Because a lot of people will think, oh, I've got muscles, I can lift whatever I want to lift, 220, 250, whatever it is. But you only see those guys lifting maybe once or twice, where you get, if you do your technique correct, you can maybe not get as much out of it, but more out of it because your technique is correct.
It's a very simple question with a very complicated answer. Olympic lifting is highly technical. Highly technical. The lifts that we do, and especially the snatch, more so than the clean. I always say it's something that you must learn before you die, is
Yeah.
learn how to snatch a barbell.
Okay.
I have coached some of the strongest guys. I'm talking really strong, and because their technique to par, they can miss a light 40 or 50 kilo snatch completely.
Wow.
The bar falls out of their hand, they fall forward. Olympic weightlifting is a combination of a lot of things. It's a combination of technique, of strength, because you've got to be strong.
Yeah,
I mean, the world record snatch is 220 kilos.
Wow.
That's some people's deadlift.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got to be flexible, you've got to be mobile. Your timing has to be excellent. Your coordination. So once your timing and your barbell is floating up, you're already supposed to be going underneath it.
Right.
All of that has to come in together to make that lift perfect. So it is a combination of strength and technique, and we show our strength through our technique and vice versa. When we coach Olympic lifting, because of its technicalities, you need to be strong in every position, and we divide the lift into 3 positions.
Okay.
The first pull phase of the lift is once the barbell has crossed your knees, and explosion comes up to elevate the barbell through your legs and your hips. And the third phase of the lift is the catch,
right,
in the clean and the rack position.
Right.
All right. And in each one of those stages, the technique as well as the strength within each of the phase of those lifts is important. So that's why we have a lot of auxiliary or exercises that strengthen those. If that answers your question.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a very loaded question.
Yeah.
At 48 years old, I'm stronger than I've ever been in my entire life, physically stronger.
Right.
As you age, though, you get a little bit slower. It's a natural thing. Weightlifting, a master's lift considered master from 35 upwards.
Okay.
So all these guys you see in the Olympic Games are not even 30 years old. I think Lasha Talakatse now is 29 years old.
Wow.
After about 30, he's going to start feeling it.
Sure.
I can promise you that.
Right.
So it gives some kind of perspective.
Yeah. Now, as professional wrestlers, we take a hell of a lot of bumps on our back, on our upper back, and to a lesser extent the lower back. You shouldn't really be bumping on your lower back. You should be bumping on your upper back. Now, all of this weight training now, I'm equating to professional wrestling, because you're picking a guy up for a body slam. You're using your legs to get him up there. On a suplex, you're grabbing him around you're putting his arm around your neck and you're lifting him up. So you're basically lifting from the hips and you're hinging him up. It's a good term, getting him up and over. You mentioned before you mentioned you did some research, and Roman Reigns said working on the back. How would you then take somebody like me who's a professional wrestler and say, come, let's strengthen the back?
Okay, so you've had a lot of injuries on your back, in your lower back.
Well, not injuries per se, but if you're a professional wrestler and your back doesn't hurt, then you might be doing something wrong with your life, because we're falling on our back 20, 30 times in a training session, and we do that twice a week, matches on weekends. So 80 to 100 bumps a week.
Look, I would have to look at it from a movement point of view. I would have to look at how you're actually lifting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Olympic lifters have very few back injuries. We don't really get back in. I think more with us is our shoulder and a couple of knees here and there. So the back, because of the strength of the core, and we do a lot of core exercises directly to the core, planks, side planks, all your traditional stuff.
Yeah.
To snatch pulls and snatch the head. I mean, about your core is stabilizing. Your core is what's holding it up, as well as your upper back.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot of strength there. I would actually have to see how you lift, because it could be a possibility of the way that you're lifting the guy. I don't know if you guys are coached how to do. I'll take a video of John Cena. he does a 120 kilo snatch.
Yeah.
He's absolutely explosive. But when I see him, when he rises up, and I don't want to get too technical, his back is at a very low angle. So he pulls a lot than using his legs. So I'm saying he can actually snatch a lot more, that guy.
Okay.
If he just has to check that technique.
Yeah.
So again, it's something that I would have to look at and see that do you stand in your back the moment that you lift it and the guy over your head, or once you let go, is that pain immediate? Remember, pain can also be, or soreness, because there's a difference between pain and soreness.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. Could also happen the next day.
Yeah.
So the next day you're sore, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily an injury. If you're talking about an injury, it will happen immediately.
Right.
As soon as you lift the guy up, boom, you feel something and you say, all right, back off a bit.
Okay. Okay.
Again, we can strengthen the back. We do back extensions. We do weighted back extensions. So off your extension machine, you put a barbell on your back. So that's a lot for the lower back, but we don't. It's an exercise. We don't focus on that so much as we do a lot of front squatting. So with the front squats, again, you have a barbell that's sitting in front of you in the rack position. Very different to the back squats, eh?
Right.
So your point of weight is, your pressure is in the front.
Yeah.
And all you want to do is you want to fall forward. You got to stay upright. Again, a lot of squatting that we do, same thing. So you have a barbell, and all you're doing is you're going up and down, and that core has got to remain tight.
Right.
It's got to remain tight. Do that through bracing. So bracing is the way that you breathe in and lock your abs down, like somebody's going to punch you in the gut.
Right.
So what's that done? Created you like a Coke can, like a full Coke can. So you take an empty Coke can, you can crush it like that. But when it's full, what you're doing now, you're able.
Yeah.
That's the very basics of it.
All right. So I especially get a lot of questions about, especially youngsters, 18, 19, 20, that want to come in and train professionally. Now, we can train them how to be professional wrestlers, but what would you recommend for a guy in that age range? What can he do at home that can help him strengthen his core? And when he comes to wrestling the next time, he might not suffer as much because, we're going to be putting him through the ringer later.
We work the core directly, but we also, remember, weightlifting is a lot of compound movement. So we're working everything else as well.
Right.
We're working the glutes. When you're doing a snatch or a clean and jerk, everything is working. It's a compound movement. I think only your eyeballs are not working. Maybe that's the only thing.
Yeah.
The rest, even your jawline is solid. Traps, your back, your lats, your quads, your hamstrings, everything. So you have a complete body strength structure, the regime that is going to strengthen all of it. You can do, and everyone's different. You can do exercises and you've got to do those exercises that are directly related to the core. In other words, planks, side planks. Don't do sit-ups, waste of time. Front squats, overhead squats, walking. If you try walking with a barbell over your head, weighted barbell, and walk 20 meters and 20 meters back and forth, that is doing a lot for your core. Those kind of exercises, and it's something that I can write. We can be muscle specific, but most of the movements are compound movements.
Right.
Remember, what weightlifting does is it teaches explosive speed. So I would tell the youngsters, if you want to be explosive, if you want to do that lift, and you're going to lift off the ground, I want to teach you how to be explosive, but in the right form.
Yeah.
And in a safe way. I equate you guys lifting a floor and, put him on your head, almost like a power clean and a press.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's in my head, and I can join the two together in a way. Although it's a lot harder to pick up a human than a barbell. Doesn't matter with the weight, because a human has got other moving parts,
right?
Hands and
that's
up to you. you can teach that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's your thing.
Now,
Uh,
if somebody wanted to look at technique, you mentioned a little bit earlier, because we had to start this video over due to technical issues. You mentioned YouTube is, you know, the new Encyclopedia Britannica, if you will,
Right.
of the information age. How useful is it to just get a tutorial off YouTube as opposed to, you know, getting a trainer?
Great question. All right. What I've seen, and from personal experience, and what I've seen, and what we kind of all agree on in a way, is that start off with YouTube. Start correct people to follow. Firstly, don't follow a CrossFit athlete who's doing weightlifting. Follow a weightlifter.
Right.
No offense to CrossFit athletes, but weightlifters, this is their specialization. Go with it for a while, and that needs to be done. Okay, and practice it as much as you can. After that, where you think you're going to hit, and you hit a kind of plateau, and you're going, geez, I can't load any more weight on this. That's where you need to definitely find a guy direction, and who's got the eye to see what you're doing right and what you need to work on. Right. And these days as well, there's lots of online coaches. My last coach was Mona Pretorius, who's a common gold medalist. She was coaching me online. She was staying in New Zealand.
Right.
So I would send videos, and then she would analyze the videos and, you know, do a video editing things and all the beautiful apps that exist with, you know, analyze video.
Of course.
Back to me.
Right.
So yeah, definitely start on self-tier, especially if you don't have a lot of money. These guys, they can charge quite a bit as well.
Right.
Start with that and then go with it afterwards.
All right. So the last question. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you specifically, now I reached out to you on TikTok, and we spoke there. But I mean, if somebody wants to say, hey Nick, listen here, I want you to train me, look at my mechanics, look at my aesthetics, and help me lift better, where would they be able to find
you? Use my personal email or my coaching.
Right.
I can leave my WhatsApp number as well. I'm on my phone quite a bit with WhatsApp and with email. I have a website which I'm still developing because I build my own websites as well. Right. But I've got so many others to build, and I'm trying to get back to the thing that I love the most. You know how it goes. But yeah, through my email. I don't know if you'd like to give my email out or put it in the comments, or should I give it out?
What we'll do in the beginning of the episode, we'll maybe get you to introduce yourself there, give out all your social media tags and your email address and everything like that at the beginning of the video. Put it in the comments as well, and then anybody who wants to get a hold of you for advice, or maybe they like, for example, I asked you for something specific, which you were very gracious to give me, and I'm very appreciative of that. I have been using the program, and
we still need to work on that because we need to progressively overload, huh?
Yeah. I've noticed that my hips aren't in as much pain as they used to be. So it's definitely working. So we need to.
We haven't spoken about flexibility as well. We haven't spoken about flexibility and injury. And again, like I think we discussed earlier, there's so much to unpack. It could be a podcast for about 2 hours.
Sure.
But we don't have the time. A quick science lesson on why it is that I do what I do. I'm not interested in building massive muscles. I have smallish ones. I'm a weightlifter. Weightlifters are incredibly strong, just like powerlifters.
Sure.
All right. So, quick science lesson: you have sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. You have, which is the bodybuilders essentially, and you have myofibrillar hypertrophy, where your myofibrils are the parts that grow, where your sarcoplasm around your myofibrils stays around the same, and your myofibrils are the ones that grow. And that's what, through many studies, it's all debatable. There are hundreds of studies on this stuff. And that's actually what generates force and strength. Those were myofibrils, where your sarcoplasm around the myofibrils is what grows in bodybuilding. So, and that's consisting of different proteins and water and your glycogen. So that's what we're interested in growing strength,
Right.
not necessarily growing muscle, but we grow both at the same time, but into bodybuilders. And the training regime, which is essentially much lower reps at moderate weights, where bodybuilders are doing moderate weights at very high reps, at a high frequency. We're doing it at a less frequency. So that's a quick rundown of how Olympic lifting is very different. Powerlifting, very similar to Olympic lifting. We're going for strength. We don't really care about aesthetics. We kind of have to. You want to look like a little bit, but that's the thing of it.
Nick, I have a feeling that there's a lot more to unpack here than just what we've covered here. I mean, there's a lot more science. I mean, we can go into the nutrition of it. We can go into the the science of muscle growth and things like that. I think maybe if you are available, that we do a few more podcasts, because I have a feeling there's a lot more information here that we can unpack. We've maybe even just scratched the surface of the surface when it comes to that stuff. So
we definitely have.
If you are available, I think we need to set up something maybe next week and carry on with this conversation, and do a bit more research from there. But for the other, for the casual viewer and things like that, we're going to get an introduction from you at the beginning of the video. We're going to put TikTok, email address, WhatsApp, all of that stuff there. So if people want to get a hold of you, they can get a hold of you for things like that. And if they really want to put a program together, you can work with them and really go forward with this thing. But I have
that's what I do. I customize.
Yeah.
So I do a full training history, training back. I take your body weight. I watch you squat. You need to perform these movements. I want to see what you do overhead. I want to know pretty much everything about you, and then I customize a program according to who you are and what you can do.
There we go. Right. Let's move forward with this. We'll get all your information there. We'll put it in the beginning of the video, and we will unpack this further, man, because I have a feeling that we're going to get very technical with this.
I don't want to, because I don't want to confuse people, but I just want to say, watching wrestlers and what they do, and watching Olympic lifters, I think people have the wrong impression. These guys are highly conditioned athletes. Highly conditioned. And I'm watching what wrestlers do, and I'm going, that guy's flexible to do something like that, and he's rolling and he's kneeing his head, and the other one is I don't know your movements. Slamming on the floor, and incredible, absolutely incredible. And the same with Olympic lifters. You might see a bit of a gut there, but that guy is so flexible to get under a 200-kilo barbell. I mean, it's pure athleticism, and it's very underrated and very underappreciated, I think.
Well, what we might have to do is we might have to get you into a wrestling gym and have guys do some movements for you, maybe put together a match, and you can then take a look at how they're moving and how they're lifting from there, and see, where the technique can be improved. Because I mean, everything about wrestling is repetitiveness and technique and things like that.
Right.
And if we can find a better way to move and to do these things, it's just going to make us better professional wrestlers.
Sure. I would mimic the movement to an Olympic lift.
Yeah.
Or to like we're holding the snatch in a wide grips, the snatch pull where you're coming up, or the power clean where you're pressing the guy, cleaning up on you and you're pressing him overhead.
There we go.
Not going completely the full technique snatch, because that would actually take too long. I'll be honest. You guys have work to do, and it's a lot of unnecessary stuff.
Sure.
But with the way that you guys have a wide grip and you're pushing a guy and you're holding him over your head and you're walking with the guy, that's part of I mean, I've done it as well, but with a barbell, not with
of course.
I to try with a person.
All right, Nick. All right, let's cut this one here for now. Then we are definitely going to touch base again. We'll sync our schedules together, and we'll discuss this further.
Excellent.
Great. Right,
Donovan,
everybody.
thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
You are most welcome. And for those who want to hit Nick up and ask maybe one or two things about their lifting and things like that, not only in a professional wrestling capacity, maybe in CrossFit or maybe just general, you want to improve your gym movements or your gym lifting and things like that. We're going to get Nick's details then. We're going to hit this further.
Lekker. Good
Nick,
stuff. Sounds good.
Thanks a lot for your time, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you. For sure. Thanks, Donovan.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.